Hey folks, it's Rob Appell from So Well, presented by Stitchin Heaven right here on YouTube, and I'm on my wonderful progressive quilting camp out through the Pacific Northwest. And even though we are making the Summer Camp Quilt by Charisma Horton, looks like I ran into some snow last night, but that's okay because we are making the campfire block to warm up this chilly morning. So stick with me, I'll show you how to make this awesome block for your entire summer camp quilt. Ready? Let's get stitching. Well, welcome back everybody to another quilt block from our summer camp quilt, although we are in the snow. Can you believe it? And I am so excited to be presenting to you, like I said, summer camp. This is a wonderful quilt patterned by my dear friend Charisma Horton. The size is 60 by 72. Did I get it right? I did. Fantastic. Today we are working on the campfire block. We're gonna make two of them using our wonderful Benartex Shadow Blush fabrics. And as we're getting ready to get started, I just want to welcome you to the Pacific Northwest. I don't want you to think I was totally unprepared. I am literally standing at 1,500 feet and it started snowing on me last night. I woke up about 4 a.m. with the car starting to get some snow, about an inch or so. So I was going to move on because I wanted a summer camp video, but I thought, well, we've got this beautiful fire and it's such a nice scene. Let's just go ahead and try this and see what we can do. So like I said, we're going to dive right into this block. It's super simple. We're basically making what I'm going to call quarter square triangles, and they're going to all have a variety except for, and I can probably just show you here as easily, just these few out here on the edges, which are going to have the blue in their position as well. Okay. Now I'm going to walk you through this construction, but I just want to show you a few more of these. Like I said, the colorized ones are randomized, and I just happen to have two at the moment that have the pink there, but we're going to make a few for you from the start as we dive right in. Now, your instructions can be found on, for this, the fire block here. These are on page 3 in your pattern. And make sure you have your pattern so you're following along with all the actual sizes needed. And that's the best way you can support Charisma out there, and you can get it from her or in the link in the description. If you want a full kit, get it from us here at Stitchin Heaven. It is awesome that way. All right, so let's get back to our blocks. We have several cut sizes. Now, one of these is going to remain a rectangle. That'll be that top row. And two of these squares are going to fill in near the top row to give that kind of movement, that fire effect. So now you can see on all of the other squares, I just kind of got going with all of my colors, my yellows, my golds, my oranges, my reds, and I drew diagonals on all of those. But what we're going to do now is we're going to use this diagonal as an actual stitching line. Excuse me, I keep saying that because I guess I'm a little chilled here. Not stitching line, it's going to be our guideline. So we're actually making two, and I know you know these, half square triangles. So at the moment, let's just come on over here to the machine, and I'm gonna go ahead and stitch myself a 1/4 inch on either side of that chalk line that I drew using a diagonal, you know, just using a ruler, real simple. When I get to the end, I'm just going to go ahead and either rotate, or if I was chain piecing, I would grab the next set of squares and I would go down that line. But right now, let's just go ahead and rotate because I've already done that. And I'm going to go ahead and stitch through here as well. Okay, so now you can see there's two lines of stitching, 1/4 inch from either side of that chalk line. So I'm going to go ahead and do that again real quick. Just as a quick reminder though, make sure folks that you have your fabrics laying right sides together for this. Make sure you don't get going fast like myself and you accidentally put your fabrics wrong sides together or mismatch them or something like that. When you're picking out your colored squares, you're just randomizing them. So again, go through all of your stacks following the cut size instructions. Randomize your colors, some reds and some pinks and some oranges and some yellows and all of that, like I said, and do it with your blues as well, because those blues are just the corner pieces, just the fill-in pieces. Just like that. Now, I always like to use a ruler to protect my fingers. So at the moment, right now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and lay a cutter or lay a ruler like yay. Okay, and just cut those. Now I'm going to leave these just as they are for the moment because I'm going to show you another trick here in a second. Okay, now because we're dealing with half square triangles, and if you have something like a clearly perfect slotted trimmer, you may want to use these to trim your half square triangles and take your dog ears off now before you go on any further. So if you were doing that, you'd just be laying your little dotted line on the stitch line here, and the way these were measured out, they're really pretty dang accurate, but I might want to just trim those, and then I might want to get in here and trim off the dog ears, so it makes a really nice half square triangle just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and take a moment and trim all of these down and then get ready to press them. And as we press them, I'm just going to go ahead and press them kind of to the dark fabric, to the darker side as I'm working through here. And then we'll start to marry these together to make those quarter square triangles. And if this part makes it into the actual video, this would be considered a Team Rob move versus a Team Tiffany move. I know these half square triangles are all but perfect, so I just cheated and dog-eared them like a slob, but it still works. Watch this. See, it's working. Okay, now folks, the key to this next step is we want to go ahead and mark our next series of diagonals before we match up the blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and just make life easy. I'm going to mark using my edge to edge. You notice I've actually even rotated my seam just so it's in my favor while I'm marking. Little things like that really do seem to help. We're going to be doing a 1/4 inch on either side of this marking just like before, so make sure you can see it good. And now the other trick is we're going obviously right sides together, but make sure that your seams are running parallel. Notice the removed stitches from before. So anyways, make sure those seams are running parallel. And now we're just going to match up corner to corner, and we're going to make those 1/4 inch seam allowances. One on each side of the chalk line, rocking and rolling. Again, you could chain piece these series of moves if you would like to, or you can just do one set at a time. Just don't get going so fast that you have to get your seam ripper out as well. Okay, so now this comes off the machine like this, and I'm going to go ahead and just grab anything handy that's a little bit longer to protect my hand, and we're going to go ahead and slide right through. Whoop. Have a lot of layers on my cutting surface here so you can see that flex. Why, again, you always want a nice firm cutting surface. The cutter's plenty sharp and heavy enough. Did you hear I stole that from Alex Anderson while I was staying at her home? Try to get your points to match up, maybe even a little better than that if you'd like. I did lay my dark side fabrics opposite when matching that seam before, just so I had a little bit of nesting ability, but those are the blocks we're making, and you can see these two feature some of the blue on the outside. So now let's put the whole thing together so we can get this fire built. Okay, and as I was saying before, hopefully you can see everything okay, the top row is just your rectangle. The next row will be your outside squares, okay? Let me show you again on the finished block. That's what it's going to look like. Okay? So then as you come across the top, you're going to want to have one of your blue and then maybe another blue on the outside. Remember, I've got randomized colors. So that's what I'm now trying to do, is make my randomized colors going towards the outside here. Okay? Then as I start to put it together, I'm just going to try to match up so that I don't have the same colors touching. Ooh, that's a nice play. And forgot to trim open this other block, so excuse me real quick here. Rotary cutter, anyone? Help? There it is. Not quite the same filming in the great outdoors. It may be better. I'm not saying it's not great. I'm just saying that I'm a little disorganized, and I apologize. But I am having the time of my life. So, all right, bloopers, maybe we'll include that one. Okay, folks, I found the rotary cutter. I forgot to trim my last section of half square, quarter square triangles open, but let's get these pressed open real quick. Goofing off. Oh, this point's a lot nicer than the last one though. Maybe I was just preparing you to show you that I can get a Team Tiffany award every now and again. Ooh, the Tiffany Award. That sounds like it should be made from crystal or something, doesn't it? I love it. Okay, Tiffany, I love you. All right, oh, look, right here. See, I'd rather not have that match. So let's see. Look, see what I'm doing? Those colors, how do we do over here? Okay, that's terrific. Of course, didn't lose the other square. Slow down, Mr. Caffeination. Okay, can we do it? Bonus. Boom. Okay, so now all of the different colors are not touching their same color, and we're just going to go ahead and grab. But really, folks, just go a few pieces at a time. So I'm going to grab these two, and I'm going to do my 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then I'm going to press, and I'm going to get the next one. If you get going too fast, guaranteed you'll sew a couple of the wrong seams, and you'll have to get out your seam ripper as well. Ooh, wind's starting to pick up as well. So let me go ahead and get this finished off. And as I start to sew these squares together, the only thing I really still need to point out for all of you is we have to put the squares together before we can put the last rectangle on. I think that makes quilting sense if you've made quilts before. If you're brand new to quilting, hey, welcome to the club. Isn't this amazing? If it's your first video you've ever seen from me, I do have studio videos. I do some really other cool videos about machine maintenance and stuff, but this is a wonderful experience I'm having out in nature, bringing a 1941 Singer and a solar-powered battery system to life. Okay, so the next one we're gonna do is we're just gonna flip that over and make sure that seam gets put on correctly. Okay, perfect. Here you see a completed row, and you know me, they're not exactly the same, but I'm just going to cheat those together. It won't be a problem. You also know what your finished size square is supposed to be because you have your pattern. So you could have trimmed these down to that size if you really wanted a super, super accurate matchy-matchy of all of the points and everything. But for me, you know, I just find that they seem to go together pretty good. We've got a little bias going. I do quilt my own quilts, so I can account for that. I do a lot of them seated on a machine, so I'm moving things around myself. And so it really doesn't ever seem to be too big of a problem if the blocks aren't perfect. Oh, here's something though. I was pressing from this going this direction, so now I'm gonna press in the opposite direction because that will help the seams nest a little bit. So I'm not a total slob at all times, and I'm not always unprepared, ending up in the snow with a summer project, but these things happen. This is nature. This is what makes camping so fun. How many of you have camped along the Pacific Northwest? That's something I would love to know in the comments below. This is one of my all-time favorite places to be out in nature. Proceed! One other hint I'd like to point out, and maybe I should have mentioned this earlier for you folks, but you are making 2 of the campfire blocks for your summer camp quilt. So with that being said, I do strongly recommend you lay them both out at the same time so that you can really randomize where your colors go within the fire to give it that extra special effect. You don't want to end up in a place where you have too many of the exact same pieces in the same fire because it would not look as randomized. And the other one would probably look really randomized. Okay, there's that. Almost there, folks. Once you have all of the rows, or all the blocks joined into rows, I should say, and don't even ask me what happened there, but I will stitch that right in because it's just going to form, boop, into that 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to drop that on, get ready to rock and roll. Stitch it right into place. And I think I'm starting to see the need actually to put a true 1/4 inch mark because I can see that all of my piecing wasn't perfectly accurate as I go across this section here. Or maybe I had trimmed all of my other ones before I started filming. As you know, I said I like to get prepped out, but all of this is easy enough to square back down. Maybe I should do a whole video on squaring it down. So now I have two comments. Have you camped in the Pacific Northwest before? And two, would you like a video on how to square down blocks when things start to go a little south? Although I'm not concerned yet. We're gonna match that bad boy up. It is now also starting to snow again, so I think it's about time to wrap up this quilt block and head for some lower, drier ground where we can finish out the series. We have some wonderful tree blocks to still make. We're gonna get it all pieced together and show up at Charisma's house with the quilt top ready to rock and roll. Then we're gonna commandeer one of her machines and we're gonna quilt it with Charisma's assistance. She's an amazing long arm quilter, terrific friend, and I'm really blessed to be on this adventure to her home all the way in Eastern Washington. You know, she's been working on this really cool quilt barn. I really want to see it, as well as I'm going to meet the chickens. So that's going to be awesome. But look, folks, as sloppy as it was looking, other than the threads and all that, right? It's going to come together beautifully. Get that last row on, then you can trim it up, block it if you need to. All right, folks, it's a success. We got it. Awesome. The snow is starting to fall pretty heavy, but there it is, the campfire block. You need two of them. I've got two of them right here, ready to rock and roll into my quilt. I'm going to set these aside, keep building more blocks with all of you as we get ready to put this top together and head off to Eastern Washington to go see Charisma and have her help quilting it. I got to get the fire stoked. I am quite chilly at the moment. Break this down and hit the road to our next spot. Maybe we'll find something that looks a little bit more like a summer camp. Thanks everybody for being here. Please stay well. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. It really helps support our channel. If you haven't subscribed, do so now. Hit the little button to be notified every time we go live or do a new video for all of you. And here's one from the past I think you'll really enjoy.